This is the phenomenal AJ Styles, and you are watching OMG Wrestling Podcast. I can do that again if you want.
We are here for the OMG Wrestling Podcast. I'm Tony Pizza Guy along with Mikey Danger, Chase, Ango, and all these people. We have a brand new overlay. Boom! There we go. Oh, I forgot to fade it. Oh, well. That happens. We got a big show to talk about. I think I got everybody on the line here. I think I have Ango on the line here. What's going on, Ango?
Oh, just chilling, man.
Oh, let me turn you up. Let me turn you up. There we go. Now everybody can hear you. You're turned up.
Oh, I'm turned up. Okay.
I think Chase is on the line as well, or getting on the line. I'm joined in person by Mikey Danger, our resident rock star.
Hi, I'm in person.
We have an awesome show. It's Two Tag Tuesday, as I like to call it, because I had to play the freaking intro and stuff because XSplit automatically muted for me, so that was cool. I don't get it. Chase ain't wanting to answer the call, but that's fine. We'll do the show without him.
We have Ango. What more do you need in this world?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Water,
no. You don't need anything more than Ango.
All I need is one, Ango.
Ango, will you provide me with food, water, and shelter?
What the hell you think I am, dude?
Provider?
Why would I do such a thing?
You could call him an internet provider, right?
Nah, man.
Because you're online.
I am a entertaining provider because I bring such delight to all these people's lives every Tuesday night on the OMG Wrestling Podcast.
You are the Tuesday night delight, like John Morrison.
Hell yeah, son.
So we have a lot to talk about. Actually, not. We're winging it. We're going to see how talented we really are.
What do you guys want to talk about first? My boss told me Betty White died. It's not true. That's what I have to bring to the table today. Ango?
I do not have John Garbuick with me this evening. He's busy, but it's okay because my position in TNA is pretty high now. So,
or you're pretty high.
No, not at all, man.
You know what you should do? You should pimp out our links and subscriptions and all that stuff while I try and get Chase on the line.
Alrighty, that sounds fun. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching live on the OMG Wrestling Podcast, you guys know all the ways of supporting us. But if you don't know, let me tell you how you guys can start off. Here on hitbox.tv/viralvid, it only costs $4.99 a month. You can subscribe. You guys will get notified for all of our live streams, and you guys get sweet emoticons and emojis and things like that to use for the chat. And there's some pretty cool ones. I don't know if Tony, whenever you get a second, definitely show some of those
Yeah,
emoticons.
I'll put them out there. Also want to let you guys know, with subscriptions, we have cool prizes we're going to be giving away. We have a huge thing coming up for WWE2K15. I'm not going to tell you any information on that.
None.
Not yet.
You get none.
But maybe later we'll let you know about it. But you got
To be honest, though, I am like I can't keep my mouth shut sometimes. So if you guys follow me on Twitter, I might just have to tell you guys.
Oh, okay. That's cool. What else? What else? How else can you support the show?
You can support the show just by watching and following us here on Hitbox TV. But if you don't want to do that, I don't know why you wouldn't want to do such a thing. But if you want to help out, you can definitely do that. And then you could also donate to our show as well. Obviously, that will be brought back into the show to better our quality and all that good stuff. So just by doing those simple things, subscribing, following, donating, sharing the live streams and everything like that, we appreciate it. And then, of course, you can check us out on our personal Twitters and all that good stuff, which are listed on this new awesome overlay. Whoever designed it is a design god, but I don't know who that is. So
yeah, I think I hit some guy up on Fiverr, and that's how I got the overlay. So
yeah, he's really good, dude.
I should hire him full time, maybe, right?
You should, and you should pay him big bucks.
I don't think so.
You should tell people about Fiverr. For anybody that doesn't know, Fiverr's awesome.
You could get a prostitute for $5.
I mean, not a good one, but I'm sure you could. You
still-
could get like an Ango, Ango level prostitute for $5.
An Ango prostitute level. That's high level prostitute right there.
Oh, that's crazy, man.
All right, let me try and get Chase on here before this train wrecks any harder.
He's trying hard to connect, but
I'll be right back. And go hang on the line. We're going to put you on hold, and then when we're live, we'll let you know, and we'll bring you on the call.
I'll let you know.
Give us a second. Let's see if we can call him personally.
Technology is a blessing and a curse.
It's pretty good and bad at the same time, so I don't know.
Your Skype picture's terrifying.
My Skype picture is Ric Flair dressed in drag, so.
Oh my god.
So he's not going to answer, but.
Figment of my
I'm
nightmares.
going to say maybe he signed into multiple devices. If he doesn't want to answer, I'll send him a message. Are you signed into... This is live, buddy.
That's what we do. Come on, Chase. Get with the GD picture, bro.
I think we just decisive. Okay, let me close Skype, open it back up again. We got an interesting show to talk about. We have an Army vet who got kicked in the face. The world isn't up in arms about it.
I cannot believe WWE would be so disrespectful. So disrespectful as
Respectable.
to... Even if the gentleman who was in the service had no business jumping the barrier, that the Rusev, that Russian bastard, would kick an army man in the face. It's deplorable.
Oh, now you sound like Michael Cole. Deplorable.
Deplorable. It's deplorable, Michael.
I'm not sure what my Skype information is, so let's restart Skype. It'll auto sign me in, and we'll be good to go.
This has been a really good podcast so far.
Well, you know what? It happens.
It does. That's the internet in all its glory.
Hey, look, I got in. I remember the password. Let's call him. Oh, now I get missed calls. Here, let's do this again.
Praise be to the internet.
I'll tell you all the answer. Answer. Then we'll start the show. I swear. We got a lot to talk about, though. We got me. Hey, Chase, you're on. Finally, we connected.
Yes, finally.
Finally, Chase has come back
Come
to the
back
OMG
to the OMG
podcast.
Wrestling Podcast.
Yes. Let's get this little twerp on the line, Ango. And then we'll get our proper introductions of the show. We'll just you want to retake the intro? We'll retape it like Sin Cara's wrestling on SmackDown. How about that?
How's pube not a word?
Stop playing cards.
Sorry, I'm addicted to words with friends.
Okay. All right, guys, you ready? Pretend that didn't happen. What was that match they just retaped? Kofi Kingston and Seth Rollins. Okay, we're gonna redo this. Ready? You guys ready? Here we go.
This is the phenomenal AJ Styles, and you are watching OMG Wrestling Podcast. I can do that again if you want.
Hey, look at this old, outdated layout for the OMG Wrestling Podcast. How about I make a new one right now? Oh, look, I just made a new intro. This is surprising. This is the first time I ever saw it. I'm glad that people could join us for the first ever OMG Wrestling Podcast of today. I'm Tony Pizza Guy, joined along with at AngoYT, at Chase4AXW, at the Mikey Danger. Who wants to take it over? Who wants to take the ball and start the show off for the first time ever?
As long as somebody doesn't take it home like CM Punk did.
Oh, well, shots fired. He's never coming in.
Damn. Well, Ango, you volunteered, so get to going.
So what? We're restarting this because Tony still can't learn how to use XSplit correctly? Is that how it goes?
No. See, the match was fine, but we did the wrong finish, so we had to just start all over.
So you botched it.
Nobody knows we restarted. Shut up, kayfabe.
Kayfabe, bro. It's aired on Friday nights.
Oh, well, I don't know anything about kayfabe because I work for TNA.
Oh, no. Continuing
Okay, pimp us out. Tell us how people can support the show. Let's do this.
You guys want to know how to support the OMG Wrestling Podcast? Well, this is very simple. Thanks to Ango, I have made it very easy for you guys to do so. All you guys got to do is click the subscribe button here on hitbox.tv/viralvid. This allows you to get awesome emoticons and emojis and all these other cool perks. And, Tony Pizza Guy being the big baller that he is, we give out prizes every week if you are a subscriber or donator to our whole project, right? So if you don't subscribe, right, maybe you can't afford the $4.99 a month, which if that's the case, go get a freaking job. But if that is the case and you want to, support us, you can also donate if it's a couple cents, if it's a couple dollars or $1 million or however you want to do that. There is a donate button down in the subscription box, channel description, whatever it is. You can click that button over there and donate to us. But if you're just really cool and you can't, monetarily help us out, go ahead and hit us up on our personal Twitters and just, communicate with us, give us feedback. We appreciate that kind of support as well. And just by watching and following us here on Viral Vid, checking us out when we go live, that's all you got to do to support us, and we really, really appreciate it.
Yeah. Best way to support the show is hit that follow button. Like I said, when I hit 500 followers on this bad boy, we're going to let us know our 2K15 plans. Plus, you get notified when we're live. Duh, dummy. You dingus. Why aren't you doing that right now? You should have done it yesterday or the day before that. Also, just hit that share button. Twitter, Twatter, Facebook, Instagram.
Hey, is OMG Wrestling Podcast on Elo?
What is Elo?
I'm trying so hard to be on Elo, but they haven't approved me yet. I feel like high school again.
See, Mikey Danger, in order to be approved on Elo, you actually have to be somewhat of a bigger name than what you are. So unfortunately, I don't know if you're ever going to get that invite.
Seriously, like, I'm a rock star, and I'm, like, a huge wrestler, and, like, the biggest douchebag I know. How am I not approved?
Dude, if you haven't got a contract at TNA, unfortunately, I don't know if
well,
you're
just because you're
big a
friends with
wrestler.
John Garbage, and you get everything handed to you. Your parents
Dude.
are rich, and you got friends, and girls like you, and you're born with functioning genitalia. You think you're better than me. You're not.
I just want to say, quick shout out to...
functioning
and
genitalia.
No, for real. This is a shout out to Dixie Carter for shouting out Melissa Joan Hart, Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Okay, wait, whoa.
This
What?
is great. What?
Wait, whoa. You must tell me about Sabrina the TNA Witch.
Okay, so what happened is, Dixie Carter, because she's so good on Twitter, and she, really follows
Oh,
what
no,
everybody
she's
else
like
is
the
doing.
social media and she should be like the face of Twitter. Like when you get a new thing, instead of the egg, you should have Dixie Carter's face.
Honestly, the only thing I'm surprised is how her nudes haven't leaked through all the iCloud hacks and shit. She just doesn't know how to use the internet, dude.
It's because Surge has that on lockdown. Not the Surge the soda, but Surge the guy she's married to.
She's married to Lieutenant Surge, the Pokemon Master?
I don't think so.
No?
I don't know, man. You lost me.
Okay, anyway, what does Sabrina the TNA Witch have to do with wrestling?
So Melissa Joan Hart, right? Everybody knows her from Sabrina the Teenage Witch. She has a show on ABC Family right now.
Yeah,
She's very
something in Melissa, Joey and Melissa or something.
Yeah, Joey and Melissa.
I mean, I don't watch that on AMC Family, but keep going.
You do, but okay. So anyway, she's been tweeting a lot of good stuff for WWE and just overall her enjoyment of the product. And recently, a lot of people have been petitioning for her to become a Raw guest host because she's always had interest in it. She's always been talking about it. She's done projects with the WWE before. So out of all these recent celebrity guest hosts, she might make the most sense. And it would be pretty funny, So my friend Dixie Carter, God bless her heart, but she just does not know how to use social media the way I thought she would. And she's really making our company look bad. But she tweets at Melissa Joan Hart something about how Sabrina the Teenage Witch would be a great character for the Menagerie, which is that circus clown, Robbie Terry with the
Robbie Terry.
Yeah, Rob Terry with the freaking mask, and the the freaking two
freak.
people on the freak, yeah. You know what I mean? I don't know what the hell she was thinking, but this is all of a sudden because her, Melissa Joan Hart has definitely grown on social media because of all the WWE support, and WWE wrestlers are responding to her, WWE legends are, retweeting her and stuff like that, and yeah, because of that, Dixie Carter thinks that once again she could cause some attention for TNA. And to be honest with you, nobody knows what TNA is if you are in Hollywood. TNA has never really attracted anybody from
They had
Hollywood.
that one guy who somebody said I look like Johnny Fairplay.
Yeah, you do look
Oh,
like
the
Johnny
dude from
Fairplay.
Survivor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that guy.
Hold on.
That was in
Ango.
like 04.
Ango.
What up?
What's TNA?
TNA is a professional wrestling organization, very similar to WWE. I would call it the WWE light.
I don't know.
And,
I don't know if I believe you that it's very similar to the WWE. It sounds
dude.
awful, but go on.
No, see, dude, honestly, though, I'm going to tell you right now, TNA is honestly the #1 wrestling promotion in the North America.
I feel like you're lying.
The North America.
The North America. Look, I am not lying when I tell you that TNA is #1. I mean, they're young, developed talent that they started from the bottom, from NXT. I mean from OVW. And
No, a lot of their guys did start in NXT. You remember Derek Bateman? And Brodus Clay.
Bram. Yeah. That's true.
Brodus Clay in TNA now?
Yeah, his name is
Tyrus.
Tyrus, dude. Don't get it right, okay? You don't want to be wrong.
Tyrus.
Like
Still
Tyrannosaurus
doing
Rex. No, he's back to his big guy.
He's a dinosaur gimmick.
Well, dude, that's what I thought was really funny because like
I might
the
watch
name's
Brodus
Tyrus.
Clay if they named him Reptar. Then I'm interested. Dixie
Listen, he's
Carter,
still.
book it.
This is how TNA is. I'm going to tell you right now. This is how TNA has been for the last 5 years of existence because everything before that went to shit a long time ago.
No, I think you have it backwards. Everything prior to 5 years ago has gone to shit.
It was all
Listen.
good until Jeff Jarrett became a homewrecker. It was enough that he was ruining wrestling matches. Now he's ruining marriages.
Let's not blame Jeff Jarrett for Dixie Carter's mistakes, though, because here's the problem, man. TNA is basically WCW. Like, real talk, no joke. TNA is WCW.
Without
Everything
the
that,
budget or TV deal.
dude, did you watch Bound for Glory?
No.
I did.
Okay.
Yes. You watched a
Okay.
little bit with me.
Oh, I
For
did.
those who don't- for those watching.
I felt uncomfortable, like when your parents walk in on you masturbating. That was how I feel when I watch TNA. So I left the room.
Yeah, so let me tell you something. I wrote a great column for a website called topropetimes.com. And this was a great column. I actually got a lot of great positive feedback for it. But if you looked at Bound for Glory the way it was this year compared to 5 years ago, you would have never thought that this was TNA's WrestleMania. And I say this because, first of all, I was excited to see that TNA had something going on with Wrestle 1 because we've never been exposed to Wrestle 1 here in the United States. And we finally have this opportunity to kind of see, a Japanese promotion in the United States or whatever, like on United States pay-per-view. And I was thinking, TNA was going to do something really big. And then I actually turned on the pay-per-view. Biggest waste of money. I'm not even kidding you right now. The set looked like they were in a freaking conference room at a hotel. Like,
yeah, you had actually talked about that, Mikey. Their little video screen that was.
Oh, it was so bad. It looked like...
they pulled out 50-inch Samsung TVs that they bought from freaking Walmart. Okay.
Hey, hold on. Okay, maybe a company of TNA stature shouldn't have, the 50-inch TVs wouldn't be impressive. But I have to tell you that for an indie wrestling company, a 50-inch TV mounted on their entrance trussing, that's pretty great. And I think any company that has that sort of technology is probably the #1 indie, ever. I don't know which one.
In the North America.
In the North America.
In North America. No, but dude, TNA just doesn't freaking get it, dude. They don't know wrestling. They literally put a whole bunch of dumb-ass people
Don't you
into
hear
a
this?
room.
TNA, we are wrestling.
No, let me just finish what I have to say about TNA, okay? You got me started, and now I gotta finish it, okay? TNA is doing everything wrong. They don't mold their own stars, and the stars that they did mold no longer work for them because they didn't give them the money that they wanted. Now, Team 3D, who are the only tag team to actually bring interest into TNA, forget about what you heard about the Wolves because they suck, but Bully Ray and Devon Dudley are going to go back to WWE, and they are going to put on amazing tag team matches with WWE's Usos and Wyatt's, yeah, exactly. And then you have Ryback and Curtis Axel when they return. There is a lot of potential. When you look at the tag team division in WWE versus TNA, there is a huge difference. In TNA, they throw two guys together. They call them a tag team. WWE, if you look at their tag teams right now, they actually look and feel like authentic tag teams. And I'm not saying that they don't just put two random guys together, but like Stardust and Goldust, the chemistry's there. If you really look at Ryback, I mean, they have good chemistry. If you look at guys guys like the Usos and Los Matadores, they have good chemistry. They look like real tag teams. They do great double team moves. If you watch TNA, the only thing you could say about their tag team division is that the true tag team there is the Wolves. And that, to be honest with you, is not a big deal for me. Like, I'm not impressed with them. Okay? I don't care where they came from or how big they were. If they went into WWE, I would feel the same way. So TNA, honestly, is just garbage when it comes to putting things together. And I say that because at Bound for Glory, they put Abyss and Tommy Dreamer together. Like, what they do with Abyss is what WWE does with Kane. They just don't know what the hell to do with the guy. So one day he's babyface, the other day he wears a suit, the other day he's a lawyer, this day he's this. Like, there's no consistency. Bound for Glory looked like a conference room, dude. Like, there's no doubt about it. It was a 2-story building, and they were bragging about how it was sold out and everything like that. The bottom floor was sold out. The top floor, the second level, was filled with press and cameras, which I'm sorry to say this, but there's maybe like 5 people up there. So it's like, that's not a lot of press to begin with. TNA is a stupid company. TNA doesn't know how to work with their superstars. They don't know how to make anything out of their superstars. And the only thing I'll say that TNA did right was putting Ethan Carter against Rockstar Spud. Take away those two, and TNA is nothing but trash television, to be honest with you. It doesn't matter what television network they go to. It doesn't matter who watches them or what celebrities endorse them or what celebrities they bring into their promotion. They waste money on stupid people. They wasted money on Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff. They wasted money on bringing in Rampage Jackson and King Mo. And look at that. What is going on with those two guys? They are doing nothing but fighting for Bellator. And to be honest with you, who the hell watches Bellator? Okay? It's very simple. TNA is garbage. And I wish I could be sitting here talking about a lot of positive things about TNA, but unfortunately, until TNA actually gets their head out of their ass and stop trying to be a WWE product, then I don't know if that'll ever change, because in all honesty, that's all that's been happening. Like, literally, if you watch for the past few months, TNA runs an angle that WWE already did. TNA will do a same kind of finish, right? We all seen the anti-authority versus authority storyline. Why does TNA have to run it again? Like, TNA is just not original, dude. Their writers are watching WWE's products and basically rewriting the script with different wrestlers. All right, that's just how it is. TNA will never be the #1 wrestling promotion. And I'll tell you what I was reading, and I swear I think this is so accurate. But Jim Ross, the wrestling legend commentator, you know, the one that worked for WWE for many years, this guy wrote on his blog about how he was disappointed with Lucha Underground name dropping WWE superstars in their video promo for John Morrison. They were talking about, like, John Morrison was talking about how he's been in the ring with the best, John Cena, The Undertaker, blah, 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 right? And Jim Ross was saying what wrestling promotions need to stop doing is stop looking at WWE as their competition and just start looking at stop looking at WWE in general, because the minute that they start doing that is the minute that they start taking elements from WWE, and that's what ruins their product. Right now, the reason why ROH doesn't get compared to WWE is because ROH is sitting there as a third promotion. They're bringing, pay-per-views and events and stuff like that, and they're just producing great wrestling. But their production elements and stuff like that, they're not trying to be like WWE. Everything that TNA has done, from their vignettes to their matches and storylines and stuff, it looks like they're just trying to be another WWE. And guess what? That was exactly what WCW was trying to do. And when WCW tried doing that, what happened to WCW? And that is why TNA should not be called TNA. It should be called TNACW, because honestly, all they are is a replica of WCW, and that will never change.
Angle, I just realized we weren't recording. Yeah. Can you go over that again?
No, I will not do that.
Let me play a sounder for you.
Listen, I talk a lot about this because I was the biggest TNA fan, dude.
Hold on, stop talking. I'm playing the shots fired sound effect. All right, there were shots fired in that one. Wow. I see why your disdain for TNA, but it's right. You got a lot of points where they try to copy WWE, and boy, you don't want to do a 30-minute promo at the start of your shows. I know that's the wrong way, and WWE does that every week.
Every week. It's like, it's awful.
Okay, listen to this though. This is what WWE does well that TNA doesn't do. WWE, just like these past few months, right? Their weekly shows on Raw have been kind of mediocre, right? There's been some good moments. The Rock came back, and that was crazy. Yesterday, Mick Foley came back. That was pretty crazy. But like this kind of stuff, it's been kind of mediocre. But WWE does very well at executing the pay-per-view. And to be honest with you, they don't have to sell the pay-per-view anymore. WWE has to sell the WWE network. So overall, that's what they're trying to do, right? TNA, on the other hand, has to sell a pay-per-view, and they can't sell a pay-per-view because their pay-per-views no longer seem special when they keep giving them out for free on Spike TV. So it's like they do TNA No Surrender. Well, that's cool. TNA No Surrender, I mean, for one night on Thursday Night Impact or whatever, like, it doesn't bring hype, dude. There was nothing about Bound for Glory that made me excited. Before, though, I remember telling my brother this, too. Like, all the time. If you watch Bound for Glory, like, we would always enjoy that because, especially before with, like, the X Division title or whatever, you could, like, cash it in, for a title match. And I think it was, like, Austin Aries who did it the first time. It was very nice to watch it, right? Because it was like, okay, it's kind of like Money in the Bank, but maybe, like, a new story will start off or something like that, or like something big will come out of it, right? And then TNA always had the Bound for Glory series. That was something different than WWE, right?
Yeah. They did.
And then
I forgot that. I forgot about the BFG series that they always used to do.
Did anybody know why they stopped that? I mean, they only did it 2 years.
Because
Jeff Hardy won the first one, and I forgot who won the second one. I think James Storm.
Yeah. Oh, and then another thing, James Storm, right? So he pulls out these cruiserweights, these light heavyweights, the Great Sonata and Manic, and he turns them all of a sudden into these pretty boy baby faces into badass heels that still work a baby face style match. Like, shit doesn't make sense, Like, James Storm is actually a great wrestler. I think he's one of the only TNA talents that could really fit into a big star into WWE, in all honesty. I feel that way. But like, what the hell does this make sense, dude? You have Bound for Glory, and you have, their main event on or on United States pay-per-view is a tag team match with James Storm and Sonata versus the Great Muta and Sonata or whatever, or Tajiri or whatever it was.
How is that the main event of a Bound for Glory pay-per-view?
I get it that Tajiri and Great Muta are like big names in Japan, but to be honest with you, nobody gives a shit about the Great Muta in the United States unless you were a hardcore WCW fan. Like,
and
right
even
now,
even then, I don't think you care. I think he's like way past his prime, and like I get why they did it in Japan, yeah, because that crowd will eat that shit up. But American wrestling fans don't get it.
Look, Japanese fans appreciate wrestling. They don't appreciate like promos and things like that. And I tell you because I observed when that crowd was watching the matches, they sat there and clapped during the match. They started to cheer and things like that. They actually observed the match. When it came to like promos and backstage segments, like those people don't want to watch that, man. They want to watch people get thrown through tables and do moonsaults, and they want to watch good wrestling. Wrestling in the United States, on the other hand, is all about entertainment. So why is TNA not catering to good wrestling and still catering to the entertainment part? Because it's a pay-per-view that's in the United States, but the pay-per-view is really taking place in Japan. They should be catering to the Japanese market and showing us that good aspect of it. Because we already know on their production side of things, it was terrible. I mean, I've never seen a pay-per-view look like frickin' indie wrestling, in all honesty. And that's what I felt like I was watching an iPay-per-view on like YouTube or Ustream. It was garbage.
I think what was that? That Family Wrestling Entertainment had better production value than the TNA one?
Dude, I would rather watch PWG than watch TNA. Like,
well, duh, that's a given.
Yeah, I mean, that's not even a comparison. PWG's.
It's not a comparison, right? But TNA is, on Spike TV, and where's PWG? You can't go, like, PWG doesn't travel to Detroit and New York and this and, 50 other states. But, when TNA used to have money, they were able to do that. So that's what I'm saying. I know you can't compare content-wise, but, like, how does PWG pull off better quality than TNA? How does TNA have money? Like, realistically, I don't care what anybody says. If Spike TV has a live wrestling show, I am pretty sure that Spike TV will do whatever they can to at least help out and make it a little bit more, in terms of production, a little bit more nicer, I guess. Like, I don't think Spike TV would want to broadcast a show where 700,000 people tune in and, 500,000 of them click off because something else is on TV. They don't want that. They want you to constantly watch. That is why Spike TV won't re-sign with TNA. When January comes, I tell you right now, Spike TV is going to be done with wrestling. They're not going to get WWE. They're not going to get GFW. They're not going to get TNA or anything like that. What they are going to do is specifically get out of the wrestling because they don't understand wrestling. And I think the only network that understands wrestling like Real Wrestling is USA Network. Otherwise, TNA is not going to, and they're not going to be with USA. But TNA, honestly, it doesn't matter where they go. It doesn't matter who they sign. It doesn't matter who they bring into their company. It doesn't matter what kind of storyline they do. TNA is so far down under the spectrum that, honestly, they are not going to be a recognizable wrestling promotion. They are going to be like WCW. And if I was WWE right now, honestly, not even because of the talent, but if I was WWE and I have money, I would give TNA $500,000 to keep them to survive. I would have WWE give them like $500,000 to have them survive a little bit, and then actually send wrestlers. And TNA has to agree to this, but like WWE should send their wrestlers out there and make sure that they take over the complete wrestling program, so that way TNA could get out of debt. And that's it. Like, I want them to like buy out TNA basically, but I want them to do it in a way where they just completely take over and hijack their show, and that's it. And that's the end of the TNA. And then WWE never mentions them again. It's never in history. It's gone. Like, it's deleted. Like, you can't watch TNA in the WWE network. That's how much I mean it's deleted. Who cares about their video library?
The thing is, it'll never ever happen. There will never be a number 2 wrestling company again. You'll never see a Monday Night War. You will never see another company get anywhere close to the level that WCW and WWE are on, because WWE was around forever. When it was the WWF, when it was the WWWF, it's when when Jess McMahon Sr. bought all those territories and he put together what would become the WWE. It was because he had a passion and a love for wrestling, and he had a vision, and he put together what would become the WWE. WCW had Ted Turner's dirty, money-lined pockets, and they could do anything, and they took Luger, Flair, Hogan, Hall, Nash. They had the guys that weren't yet on WWE's radar, like guys like Sting. It was just because of Ted Turner's money is the only reason you had any competition for the WWE. It comes down to money, and Dixie Carter does not have enough, and her husband does not have enough. And I'll tell you what, Jeff Jarrett and Toby Keith, or whatever country Blumpkin is helping him run GWF, they don't have enough money to compete with Vince McMahon.
I just don't get why people try anymore, honestly.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
these
why
days
can't
you would
they
have
just
to
do their own
have
thing?
John Cena, CM Punk, The Undertaker. You'd have to steal Sting again. You would have to take, like WCW did, their top 5 dudes.
Like Orton,
Wrong.
Cena.
You're wrong. I'm sorry, but you're wrong.
Nope.
You're
Somebody
wrong.
with money would have to steal their top 5 guys and start another company.
You're
There'll
wrong.
never be another number 2. There'll be number 2 wrestling companies, just like TNA, number 2. They're shit. They're awful. They're garbage.
I honestly, I keep forgetting that TNA's in existence. The only time I actually hear about it every week is on this, because it's really irrelevant. Like, I hear a lot more about PWG, and like you were saying earlier, Ango, about how PWG, where is it at? I mean, I honestly don't care that it's not on TV, because I think it's better that way when there's only one brand that's the major brand that all the other people can strive for to get there.
Well, I gotta disagree with you on that though, because I feel like the thing is, I don't want TNA to be shit, but at this point, it's like there's nothing you could do about their product. At this point, I feel like, especially with Lucha Underground, right? And I gotta mention them because they have their television deal with the El Rey Network, which they have the opportunity to be seen by millions of people as well. Will they get that way? I have no idea. It might be another Wrestling Society X, duplication. But the thing is, the more wrestling that's on TV, the best it is for the fans, because we all do get options. Will anybody overtake the WWE? Just like Mikey said, that's not going to be possible, because WWE just has more money. They just have more resources. They have such a history that it just won't happen again. There won't be another Monday Night Wars. But this is my problem with pro wrestling, right? And this is my problem with TNA. It doesn't matter how much money you give them at this point, because regardless of how much money you give them, they still don't know how to use that money correctly. And I tell you that because if, for example, right, Bellator and Spike TV, they gave King Mo and Rampage Jackson and Tito Ortiz money so they could appear on TNA but also do their fighting in Bellator, right? We all know about that. So why wouldn't Spike TV give that money to keep AJ Styles if they know that AJ Styles is the backbone of that company? The minute that TNA lost AJ Styles and Frankie Kazarian and Christopher Daniels, then that was the minute where it was like TNA just didn't care about what actually made them big. Because believe it or not, those guys were the ones that made them big. And
Here's something I
TNA
want to mention real quick. AJ Styles wasn't asking for a pay raise. He was asking for the same amount of money that he had before, plus all the perks. They were going to cut his hotel stuff, his travel, all that, and just pay him the same amount of money. And he was like, no, I need the same stuff. And they wouldn't give him the same amount of money. He wasn't asking for a raise. He was asking for the exact same contract.
Well, but okay, so, and you're telling me Spike TV couldn't throw an extra, $500 or whatever for a hotel or something? Like, that's the thing, though. They would have gave that money to Tito Ortiz, who, I'm sorry to say, but this is where TNA also goes wrong, but they had to name drop WWE. Oh, I'm not Chris Jericho. I'm not, because that was the whole vignette. Like, oh, I've appeared on WWE. I'm not Chris Jericho. I can beat Brock Lesnar's ass. I can, fight this guy, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's what they did for his vignettes. Also, if you watch Bound for Glory, I heard Mike Tenay mention more WWE references than his own product.
I think so, too. I remember him talking about the Dudleys were a tag team champions around the world. They won the WWE Tag Team Champions. They wrestled great people like the Hart. They put that WWE over harder than they put over TNA at that show.
Dude, they put over WWE more than WWE puts over their WWE network. Like, that's nuts, man. And
if Mike Tenay would have put the Fed over anymore, he would have used $9.99 over and over and over again. That didn't come out as good as I'd hoped. But you know what I mean? He was short of $9.99 a month of just giving up and promoting them.
Yeah. See, I got one more thing to add because I was trying to think of how I wanted to word this. But, like, and another way that, like, TNA and WCW are so similar, too, is that when you watch WCW, right, especially when WCW was, like, in the ratings war, right? I was watching Monday Night Wars with my brother, and we mentioned this. WCW would put over WWE more than their own product by bringing in WWE superstars, right? Or ECW guys, right? They would bring them in, and they're like, oh, this guy wrestled for Paul Heyman in ECW. This guy wrestled for Vince McMahon. And now we see that now where it's like TNA is doing the same exact thing. So it doesn't matter what TNA does or what they do with their money or whatever. They just suck. They don't understand wrestling. Their business model looks like it was probably written by a 13-year-old kid trying to start a YouTube network. That's how bad it is. Like,
I think their business model was made in Minecraft.
Honestly, it is. It's pixelated. It's blurry. You can't see it. You don't have a clear vision for what's going to come. I hate to bash TNA, honestly. If I had TNA people watching this live stream right now and they actually understood everything I was saying, it's because I grew up as a huge fan of TNA to the point where I would actually watch TNA more than WWE. So it upsets me when I see that TNA has completely shifted from everything that made me as a fan and now they want to be WWE. I'm not like, look, man, TNA has the quality of wrestlers to be bigger than what they are, okay? Even without the money, you are telling me right now that they couldn't put a little bit more effort into producing a better quality show. Like, one night they have a 6-sided ring, and then you go to their pay-per-view, which is a 4-sided ring.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that. They went back to the 6-sided ring, then they go over to Wrestle 1, and they have the 4-sided ring. It's like, what?
So all their matches are only like 5 minutes, if that. And they do have a lot of spots in them, but it's like, where is the wrestling at?
And then the one thing that really bugs me is you have the Wolves, the Hardy Boys, and the Dudleys, and you give that TLC match away for free on television?
Yes.
That's a fucking dream match. How do you give that one away for free on television?
Well, that's what I'm saying, dude. They don't, because they suffer from ratings, dude.
No, it's because Dixie Carter has Down syndrome.
Dude, they draw a 0.7 rating on their freaking live show it's not even live. They filmed these 6 months ago, and that was another thing. Their pay-per-view comes out, right? And all of their stories before the pay-per-view started, they already filmed everything for after the pay-per-view. So, like, Bobby Lashley and the title match and all these things with, like, the title, like, all those things were already pre-taped. If you read spoilers, which I'll be honest with you, at this point, that's all I do right now. I don't even watch TNA anymore. I just watch the spoilers to see if there's anybody, like, debuting or anything like that. They did all of their tapings until January, okay? They run a pay-per-view, and they cut out some scenes because Bullet Club was mentioned twice. Like, TNA, look, I just don't get it, man. What the hell is the logic in pre-taping 20 different episodes of a show, and then now these guys have to go wrestle for other indie matches and stuff because they don't have work to do for TNA? TNA is a joke, dude. It's a joke, okay? There's nothing you can do to change that. Like I said, I want them to know that I used to be the biggest fan. If for some reason it ever, became apparent to them that I talk about them like this, I was the biggest TNA fan. I remember watching on FSN Detroit. I would come home after school. I'd be 30 minutes late, and I'd have my brother DVR it for me, okay? And I'd watch 1 hour of TNA every Wednesday on FSN, and they would actually put on some great matches, some great quality stuff. And I tell you right now, that stuff they were putting on TV on FSN had a 0.3 rating, okay? 300,000 viewers, maybe the max. But their quality and their content and their Titantrons and their entrance ramps and everything like that made it seem like they were a $1 billion company. Now, it looks like they're wrestling in freaking Marriott Hotel with a freaking conference room and 250-inch Samsung TVs, and their entrance ramp is like a freaking handicap ramp from like, a business or something. Like, that's how bad it looks. It just doesn't look good. TNA doesn't
They're not
have
even worth talking about. They're so irrelevant now.
They are very irrelevant. It shocks me because we have 30-something viewers right now on our show, and I feel like right now, like, our show, OMG Wrestling Podcast, probably makes a bigger impact in our viewers' lives than TNA will ever. Okay.
I'm wondering if a single one of them actually has watched in the past month, though. Because I know I haven't.
See, the other problem is they give away all their stuff on YouTube as well, so I could just watch the clips on YouTube. Oh, that was stupid. Oh, here we go. Yeah, that's it.
Oh my gosh, dude, you just got... All right, one thought led to another, right? So, Dave Lagana, right? This guy's like a creative writer.
Dave Lasagna, yeah, I know him. He's friends with John Garbage.
Yeah, Dave Lasagna, John Garbage. Yeah, exactly. So this guy, right? Man, very, very good writer. He used to write for the show Friends. And this guy, I mean, I would say, like... on Twitter, he's very interesting to read his tweets and stuff. And so, I'm following him and whatever. And there's this thing that was going on Twitter the other day. There's this company called Hawk & Co. I guess they're like an apparel company or whatever. And they basically, like, through their customer service, they were basically telling their guy, like, they were just giving him shit, right, through customer service. And so on Twitter, this company has maybe like 19,000 followers, and they're trending because they keep giving bad customer service on Twitter. Like, oh, thanks for the attention or whatever. We appreciate it, blah, 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 blah. And so Dave Lagana, right, Dave Lasagna, go ahead and he tweets them, and he's tweeting about how they have 39 real followers. He did I forgot what the website is, but you could check to see how many Twitter followers are real on every Twitter account. So for those who don't know, if you check Impact Wrestling right now, they have like 200,000 followers on Twitter, and I think only like 9,000 of them are real. And their Twitter scores were very, very low. Talk about being irrelevant. Their YouTube channel, they launched a subscription model base right on YouTube. Everybody knows about that, where you could like sell your content on there and get pay-per-views and stuff. TNA charges people for that, and I think they have less than 1,000 people that actually pay for that. So once again, they're pulling off 0.7 rating, and they have 200,000 followers supposedly on Twitter. And you're telling me none of those people could really support your product to the point where you're getting something out of it? TNA sucks, dude. They don't know how to do their social media. They don't know how to put on a great show. They have great wrestlers, and the last thing everybody wants to hear about is people like losing their jobs and stuff. But those people don't even have a job right now with them. They have to go work for FWE and Magnum and other freaking indie wrestling federations because TNA can't even afford to do it. They did all those pre-taped events at TNA, they don't have another spot for these people to work. And then when they get their next television deal, what's going to happen? I was talking to my brother one time. Actually, I'm not even going to lie. This is a great story. And it's only great because my brother is a very smart guy. My brother tweeted me or texted me one time while I was in school, and he was telling me, as a joke, and it looked so professional. It was like a fake screenshot of TNA signing their next television deal with Netflix, right? So TNA would get a cut for people that subscribe to Netflix, blah, 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 and that all their pay-per-views and all their stuff would be on Netflix. So it'd be like their own version of the WWE network.
That is fucking brilliant, though.
It is fucking brilliant. I believed my brother when he told me. I was like, dude, every live pay-per-view on Netflix, that'd be really good. I would actually, we have Netflix, so I'd actually tune into that, right? But then, I'm sitting there thinking, you know what? I don't think Netflix would rather fucking have anything to do with TNA, let alone anything to do with wrestling, because...
Well, I don't know. Netflix having a wrestling promotion, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
It actually sparked my interest. I stopped listening to you a half hour ago, and then all of a sudden it's Netflix and wrestling. I'm interested again. Tell me more, Ango.
Okay, nice. Well, what would you like to hear?
Nice.
I think that's a great idea. Do you think it would thrive?
I don't think it would thrive if it was TNA, but if it was a wrestling promotion and it was like...
Wait. Say that again. What were you saying?
I don't think it will thrive if it was TNA, but if Netflix, like, I guess they named it the new NWA, the Netflix Wrestling Association.
No, I don't want wrestling on Netflix. The only time I want wrestling on Netflix is if it's that WCW movie with the 3 Hell in a Cell cages or whatever. Because otherwise,
Ready to Rumble?
Yeah.
What if they started Ready to Rumble Wrestling and all the matches were in that goddamn triple Hell in a Cell? Dave Arquette ran the show, and like they'd have Jay Leno and Karl Malone and Oliver Platt and
Courtney
Cox, and just the whole gang was back. I would watch that shit.
Listen, let me tell you something. If TNA had anything to do with that, I would still not watch it. If Vince Russo wrote that television programming, I would not watch that. If Vince McMahon even put in any 2 cents into that whole thing, I would still not watch it. Because I don't like it, okay? I'm just gonna be honest with you. I like to rant about TNA, as you guys know. We're like 40 minutes into the show, 50 minutes into the show, and I like talking about TNA. But
well, I gotta say, you're on fire.
I can't stop. I'm on fire, baby. This is my episode. Everything's about TNA. I know we had that picture of Rusev, but really,
I don't know if
realistically,
anybody cares about TNA though.
But listen, okay, this is why people don't care about TNA. Because right now, it is Tuesday night, where a lot of these people watching our show could be watching TNA videos. But you want to know why they're not? It's because the most electrifying man on the internet is live right now on the OMG Wrestling Podcast. That is why, okay? Let me tell you something. Right now, if TNA called me and said, hey, we want to give you open mic to come to Orlando, Florida, do you think I would accept? Answer that question, boys. Do you think I would accept?
No.
No, I would, because I would trash that product on live television. And then I'll probably get power bombed and pile drived and everything like that. But for me, I just, it's TNA. Who cares, right? It doesn't matter.
Chase, I'll let you take over now. You've been kind of quiet all night. What are your thoughts on all Ango's little rants and shots fired? My thoughts exactly.
I don't know. I mean...
You don't have any thoughts because there's nothing to think of. TNA is garbage, dude.
No, I know. That's why I just
thought.
don't understand why it's worth talking about. I mean, I people don't like hearing how bad it is, but I mean, nobody...
Chase, I have a question for you. Were you a fan? Hey, were you a fan of Brodus Clay in WWE?
Ever.
Chase, were you a fan?
It's fun to hear how bad it is, and there's no saying it.
I think your mic was cut out.
In the first 3 weeks, I was.
Hey, Chase, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I have a question for you. Did you like Brodus Clay in WWE?
In the first 2 weeks, yes.
Okay, for the first 2 weeks. Well, that's not a really good answer because overall that means you didn't like him. So what would change your mind? If you turn on TNA, for example, right now, would you change your mind and say that Brodus Clay is better than TNA because he's no longer a dancing dinosaur? Be honest, answer that.
I mean, he's just a bodyguard, so I guess not.
Okay, well, see, the thing is, my imagery of Brodus Clay is that he is always going to be a dancing dinosaur, okay? So it doesn't matter who TNA brings into their show because no matter what, their image, their name, and everything will always be tied to WWE. And that name, Brodus Clay, will always be tied to WWE. So whoever Tyrus is or whoever Ethan Carter is, to me,
true.
I'm going to always know them as Derek Bateman or Bubba Ray Dudley, not Bully Ray.
You know what's the craziest thing I ever heard was RVD came out and he said, they're like, why'd you go back to WWE? Well, when I went to TNA and I would see people on the street, they would ask me, did you retire? Are you still wrestling? And he's like, I'm on TNA. And they're like, what is TNA? And he'd have to explain it to him. It's like, people don't know that Rob Van Dam was still wrestling when he was in TNA. And he was in like their main event scene.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to lie, though. Rob Van Dam was probably smoking a shit ton of weed because his matches in TNA were garbage. All right? Let's get that one thing straight, too. Rob Van Dam did not put on one great match for TNA. And it's funny because I remember when I was at a bar one time with my brother and some friends, and we were watching when RVD's vignette for when he was returning to WWE for Money in the Bank, right? I remember seeing that. And then I was like really, really excited for the fact that we were going to see Rob Van Dam come back to WWE, right? Well, RVD comes back to WWE, and yeah, he didn't have any intriguing stories or anything, but his quality of matches were 20 times better than what we've seen in TNA. Once again, it has to do with TNA in general. Just TNA. If you're tied to TNA, you're like, a 1-star wrestler. Even if you are the best damn wrestler in the world, you bring in CM Punk, John Cena, Sting, Undertaker, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, and I tell you right now, TNA will still always be the shittiest wrestling promotion because those guys, The Rock will be called The Rocky, Stone Cold Steve Austin will be called like Stone Cold Steve, and Undertaker will be called Overtaker, and they're going to change their name a little bit, and they're going to give them a different theme song and, you know, very similar characters or whatever. But no matter what, TNA just sucks. So whoever's associated with it sucks as well.
The only problem I have with TNA is how do you bring in guys like Christian and Kurt Angle, number one? How do you bring in that guy and not get some more notoriety? I don't think they ever gained any fans off of Kurt Angle coming in. And that's a huge name, and they ruined their match by putting Samoa Joe and Kurt Angle right away, and they should have waited and promoted that, and they... It's just
and then
like,
Jeff Jarrett stole his wife. You got to remember that.
that's why they brought in Kurt Angle, so that Jeff Jarrett could steal his wife.
Mikey Danger, I know he was pretty vocal about this last week, but, like, think about it, right? Like, that whole thing was confusing. I was asking you guys because I had no idea that Karen Jarrett was, like, even married to Kurt Angle's. Or, yeah, I had no idea that shit was even going on, right? So it's like, TNA just sucks, man, all right? That's it. I don't even have to state why. They just suck. All right. They brought in Kurt Angle. That did nothing for them. They brought in Hulk Hogan, and their ratings were still shit.
It's the whole state of wrestling right now. We're like in a weird transitional period where is the internet the way to go with wrestling or not? And some people don't know, and it's still. I don't know. Do you think wrestling, like Netflix wrestling, is the best way to go? I like that idea of Netflix wrestling and like iPay-per-views and like. Look at the way New Japan is. There's so many American fans, and it's not even aired in America. You have to find it online. And everywhere you go, indie shows, there's at least 2 to 3 people with Bullet Club T-shirts, and it's nowhere to be found in America.
And the funny thing is, Tony and I said something about this the other day. like, if Eric Bischoff would have had any idea that the internet was going to be what it is, and he would have bought the WCW tape library for the nickels on dollars that he had the opportunity to, where would we be now? The internet's the next big way to promote your company. So I think TNA will be non-existent soon enough, and you'll have another internet. It'll be, I don't know. It'll be an internet hotbed of wrestling here in about 5 years.
Yeah. All right. So obviously you guys are a little bit more familiar with Magnum, and I was watching a match. Jason Strife, such a all-American kind of guy, right? This American...
a true soldier of wrestling.
He is a true soldier of wrestling. That is the best way to put it. So Jason Strife, I was watching this match between him and Matt Sydal, and I was actually really intrigued by this match. And I'm not even going to lie. I remember when Tony sent me this video, and I was watching Magnum for a little bit, and I was actually really intrigued by the fact that for an independent wrestling promotion, I was more entertained by this match than the last 365 days of programming for TNA. And...
You're welcome.
Can purchase. Yes, thank you very much, Mikey Danger. I appreciate it.
Did you expect another result, though? Did you expect a whole year's worth of TNA being better than one match?
Yes, I was, because TNA has 365 days to impress me, right? Because I've watched them for so long. But my first time watching a Magnum Pro Wrestling match, I was intrigued by it, and it automatically captured my attention.
And
you know what I mean?
Hot question. You have to watch 24 hours of TNA television or make love to your grandma. Choose.
That's fucked up, but you know what? In that situation, I'm still going to watch 24 hours of TNA, because if I didn't watch TNA, then I wouldn't be as entertaining as I am here on the OMG Wrestling Podcast, only on hitbox.tv/viralvid.
I have to tell you that I enjoy making love to your grandma, and it's way better than TNA.
Dude, I'm coming to Magnum, and I'm challenging you to a match, dude.
So what is where were you going with this whole Magnum TNA thing? What was your end game with that one?
So my end game is strictly this, right? So after watching one match, not even an episode, after watching one match from Magnum Pro Wrestling, I would rather pay the fee to get the video on demand library for an indie wrestling promotion and start watching some of its history and its future matches than watch TNA. And that says right there, for the price point that I'd be paying for Magnum's video library to watch that, I'd be getting more money worth than paying $0 to watch TNA on Spike TV. I tell you right now, and I'm not just saying Magnum because I feel like there's some other wrestling, indie promotions out there that would really benefit from being on television. But if you put Magnum, right, you give them $1 million, right, just the startup cost, and you say, hey, I won't use Spike TV. Let's say TNT or something. I don't know. I can't really think of another channel. But if they were to give him or if they were to give Magnum $1 million right now and say, hey, we will supply everything that you need, the Titantrons, the ring, the entrance ramps, everything that we need to make this, on live television. And we're going to start off with just an hour block. I feel like Magnum Pro Wrestling would be 3 million times better than what I'd be watching on TNA. And even without them being on TV, I still enjoy their product more than what I've seen on TV. TNA just doesn't know how to really put out a good product. And I feel like some of these indie wrestling promotions can put out a way better product if they had that money. You know what I mean? Like I said, that match between Sydal and Strife was a very good match. And that was the first time I've seen Evan Bourne outside of WWE. So it's like, because I never watched his previous stuff before he went to WWE. I wasn't that huge into wrestling at that time. So it's like, to see something like that, and you see this guy that I never knew, this true American wrestler, this soldier of a wrestler, right? This guy, just to see him put on a great match with Sydal, and, I felt like the crowd was into it. The ring, the emotion inside the ring and stuff like that. I feel like, as a fan of wrestling, it's like that's what you appreciate. They didn't have the $1 million budget to put on a Titantron, and like a Titantron of like WWE, right, where you have like a 1 million-inch screen with pyro and everything like that. But I feel like if you were given that atmosphere for Magnum, I feel like you can create something really big. But if you do that with TNA, you can't, because TNA doesn't know how to produce wrestling content. They don't know how to put up matches. They don't know how to interact on social media. They don't know how to develop characters, right? Honestly, I feel like that is the thing with indie wrestlers right now that aren't on WWE or TNA. I feel like there's a lot of people out there, if given the chance to be on TV, I feel like a lot of those guys would make a shit ton of money from doing so. I was watching this great video from a wrestler that's on Magnum Pro Wrestling. His name is Mikey Danger, and he was looking for a tag team partner for this battle royal that Magnum Pro Wrestling is doing.
Battle Royale Cup, yes. Royale Cup.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. I was watching this, right? And Mikey Danger, this badass guy, right? He's such a hard ass. He's drinking beer and shit in the video, right, on YouTube. He's at the bar and stuff, walking around, like, you know what I mean? And I felt like, I felt like there was a little bit of Southern rock in this video. But when I was watching this video, I couldn't believe that this was something that I'm watching for free on YouTube. But for some reason, when I see Bound for Glory for $40 on YouTube, I don't want to pay that. You want to know why I don't want to pay that? Because I am getting my money's worth for Magnum over TNA. And Mikey Danger, I mean, honestly, this guy's probably the best wrestler alive. If I could manage him someday, I probably would. I would take him to the top. He could be a Ango guy. He could be I'm kind of like Paul Heyman in a sense, and he could be my Brock Lesnar. And in all honesty, like, I just feel like with TNA, I can't get that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hate to break it to you, Ango, but I'm a pizza guy.
Yeah, well,
Guy.
I don't really. You're a pizza guy. That's really.
I'm
that's
a pizza
really weird.
guy.
But see, dude, let me tell you something. In all
That's
my
the
history,
shirt, dude. I'm a pizza guy.
Okay, well, that's really good for you. But listen, what I need you to do is get a T-shirt that says Tango with Ango. Okay. Because the minute that you rock one of that is the minute that you have more swag than anybody on this earth. And that's
all right, Chase, cut Angle off. Let us know your thoughts on the current state of professional wrestling. Is the internet the future? Where do you see wrestling going in, say, 5 years? Is there going to be a big boom in the internet, or is it going to be more television-based? Like, is PWG the way of the future, doing a monthly show and then putting out DVDs, or trying IPVs might be better than actually trying to go for television? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, right now it seems, and in the future it seems like the more product that's on TV is going to be bad for that company, because you're going to be going up against WWE, and people aren't really going to dedicate all their time, because on the internet you have the option of skipping and going back and coming back to it later. But I mean, yeah, you have the DVR, but really, who's going to devote all that time just to see a second-rate wrestling product that you could see on the internet for free? And I honestly think that's the way to go on the internet. YouTube, more outlets like that are pretty much the future of the wrestling business, and I think it's fine that way. Honestly, the PWG style I like, because that's a different fan base. Sometimes when stuff gets too mainstream, it goes downhill. And personally, I think that everything should be its own little company, and the WWE should be the main goal of every single wrestler in the world.
If the WWE is not your main goal, then you need to piss off.
Do you think we're back in the days of the territory days? I feel like we're getting back to that again. I feel like
no.
I feel like the
Yes,
WWE
TNA
is the
is
place
just
where you
there.
want to be. The
There's no
WWE, if you
point.
want to be a television star, you go to WWE. If you want to hone your craft, you go to all the little independent promotions, the territories. You got California. There's like I think there's like Hollywood Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, and then there's also PWG that's known in California. There's other ones around there, and then obviously the premier one in the Midwest is Magnum Pro, and then on the East Coast you have Ring of Honor.
There's a great fed up north called 2CW by Syracuse, New York, that is get a lot of names have come from. Sammy Callahan wrestled heavily in 2CW.
Isn't that the Blue Meanies thing? I think it is.
No.
No, he
Monster
does.
Factory.
No, Blue Meanie does Monster Factory and PWS, and then there's House of Hardcore, which is getting really popular
Yes.
over here.
House of Hardcore has become very, very popular. And with the television deal, I feel like House of Hardcore kind of reminds me of ROH. But what if, for example, ROH and House of Hardcore, because they are not a direct competitor to WWE, why can't these two companies become a crossover, be on live television that's more than just a syndicated television programming? You put them live, you put them in the spotlight. You know what I mean? Then we could start seeing territory days again.
It's because ROH is quietly feeding WWE.
I think so. I mean, look at how many superstars came from ROH to WWE.
Dude, look at some of the content that they've put out with the Daniel Bryan and the Punk DVDs. There is a ton of ROH stuff.
That's true.
WWE is become very open and honest about the fact that, hey, there are indie wrestling companies out there, and we have guys that did that before. I mean, It would be nice if... I think the one thing that wrestling fans don't realize is they have the chance to see the next Stone Cold Steve Austin or John Cena or The Rock at your local indie wrestling company, and they don't... Like, there was some guy that tweeted Tony, and was like, are there going to be any major names at this show? And it's like, no, man, come... I mean, yeah, Magnum does bring in major names, but why don't you want to
support
come
the
see him?
actual young talent, you know?
Yeah, like... So you end up, for example... You know, you make friends with one of the wrestlers there, and you somehow end up with their personal email, or you add them on their personal Facebook or whatever. 5 years later, you're in constant contact with, you know, the next Daniel Bryan or CM Punk. Like, why don't people realize? It's like going to see a local band before they blow up.
Yeah,
You know,
I
I saw Aerosmith when they, you know, played in the bar down the street from me.
Yeah.
It's just, people have no respect for the people that are out cutting their teeth and trying to make it.
No, I mean, I'm glad you said that, because I feel like, I mean, in this situation, I'm just waiting for that moment where you actually get to the WWE so I could freaking freeload off you, man. Because honestly,
let's bounce off this for a second. Let's be real here. Jason Strife.
Yeah.
You see the picture of the OMG Wrestling podcast.
Yeah.
Tony and I's very good friend Jason Strife, former Magnum owner, current Magnum Pro superstar. He was the guy that was dressed up in the army duds. He was called up to play that role. And
Oh, really? Wow, that's awesome.
to see, to see one of my friends, one of my close friends. I mean, here, let me read you the text message he sent me earlier today. I said, so how was last night? He said, dude, last night was incredible. The whole experience was amazing. I spoke with Vince twice, and he loved what I did. Paul Heyman walked up to me out of the blue afterwards, tapped me on the shoulder, stuck out his hand, and just said, great job.
Yeah,
I was short of being there and doing that myself. That is the most excited I've been about wrestling in God knows how long.
Yeah, I mean,
I have a question.
I have a lot of friends that have been on. I mean, a bunch have been on with Adam Rose, and that's really cool and all. And then I have one of my really close friends, Steve, who's actually in NXT now. So he's had 2 televised matches, I'm
Steve
pretty
Cutler?
sure. Yeah, Steve Cutler.
That's legit, dude. I have a question for you guys then, since you guys know these people. So like for the people that were Rosebuds, right? Chase, or like Jason Strife, right? Do you guys think because of this opportunity, right? Do you think like they would actually get the opportunity to go down to NXT? Like, do you feel like they have enough buzz, or does it even matter that they may not have enough buzz? Like maybe someone like Jay Lethal or something.
Legit answer.
Yeah.
Jason Strife, after doing this thing last night, they didn't want to put his face on TV because they didn't want anybody to know that he, they kind of didn't show his face a lot.
Yeah,
so
they didn't show it.
you didn't get that opportunity to jump on the internet and find out who he is. But he has a tryout tonight at the SmackDown taping.
Really?
Nice.
So a lot of these guys that are indie workers that, I mean, here's how the process works. I'll make it real quick. I won't drag on because my name's not Ango. What they do is every year WWE hosts around the entire United States these little camps, and they send Gerald Briscoe and Pat Patterson and Jim Ross. And what you do is you pay a fee to go do this, to be evaluated by the WWE. If they like what you do, they like your look, they like your style, they like what you say, because you do like a 1-minute promo. You give them all your information, a short bio, what you've done, and they basically say, okay, next time we're in town, if we like you, we'll call you.
Yeah.
And so WWE was in Kansas City, got a hold of Strife and said, hey, we want you to come do this thing, and we'll give you, you'll have a tryout match. And
I was telling Tony about, because Briscoe came around our area, and like I'm not at that point yet, but a bunch of people got evaluated by him. And like I said, Steve Cutler, he already got the contract. And then another guy, Joe Gibson, was supposed to get a contract, but then he had problems with his back and had to stop wrestling. So Briscoe's going to be coming back like next June or something.
Yeah, and I myself, the same as you, I skipped it because I know that it would be money wasted for me and not time well. I would be insulting the WWE if I went there and wasn't at the absolute peak of what I thought was having the abilities to offer them. So I didn't do it this year. I might do it next year. I'm not sure, but I think it's great that they give the opportunity to do that, and they do at least, if these guys aren't ever going to make it, they give them the opportunity to be a rosebud, to be a security guard, to be a fake police officer, to be a fake soldier, to have an on-air role and, get that experience, to shake hands with Vince McMahon, with Paul Heyman, to meet some of your idols. I mean, hell, he was there the same night that Hulk Hogan and Mick Foley were there. Are you kidding me? How lucky can you be to see...
Well, just think of this. The guy, freaking Colin Delaney, came in to be a squash talent, right? He came in, he got squashed. I think he got squashed by the Great Khali or something like that. He came in to be a squash talent. They loved what he did so much that they asked him to come back the next week. They were looking for local talent to get squashed on ECW. They loved it, and they brought him in. Yeah, Colin Delaney's not there anymore, but still, it's like one of those opportunities where...
He got a paycheck from the WWE for like 6 months.
Yeah. And he had that good feud with Tommy Dreamer that, I still remember. So as long as you're remembered, you're fine.
Yeah, the dude weighed 84 pounds. He looked like garbage. But you will remember the name Colin Delaney as it comes to pro wrestling for the rest of your life.
Yeah. So you know what I like? I like the fact that, like, even with Jason Strife being, like, dressed in a, like as an army guy or whatever, soldier, like, the fact that they did that, and I was telling Tony about this earlier, but it just looked like a legitimate thing, right? Like, he hopped the barricade and... he's a legit fan. And, like, that is something, like, honestly, if you were to turn on the news right now, like, that is something that would sound very legit. Like, a fan hops over the barricade because of Rusev dissing the United States or something, right?
I wish they did it better. I mean, I know it was great and all, but I wish they sold it more legit because at first I was like, oh, shit. I didn't know that it was Jason, of course. But I was like, awesome, a fan just hopped out. And then the second he super kicked him, it was like, oh, okay, that was part of the story. Because I figured that a fan actually, if I was in the crowd and I was a Army veteran, I'm pretty sure that I'd do the same thing. Dude, so I think they should have just had the security guard take him to the ground.
No, dude, because they have had times where wrestlers have actually hit a fan before, though.
Yeah, Eddie Guerrero and RVD's ladder match, wasn't it? Somebody ran in and, like, Eddie or RVD, Eddie, I think, like, punched a dude right in the head.
Yeah, dude, they don't care.
I remember Kevin Nash back on when the NWO formed, a fan jumped the railing, and then Kevin Nash like squashed his head with his boot, and the dude got fucked up.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, so the fact that Rusev did that, honestly, I was just really, like, I was telling Tony this, but, like, I was just really hoping that they could really elaborate on that, right? Like, because now think of how authentic the story sounds, right? Big Show gets in trouble for pulling down the Russian flag, which was planned, right? And then now Rusev's about to do it. They get a soldier to hop the barricade and do the same thing. Like, I want them to elaborate on this a little bit more because it obviously betters the storyline. But now if Jason Strife has a tryout match, like, I mean, honestly, just the idea of having the soldier, and I'm not saying like because he's not
versus Rusev.
No, but like he's not an NXT superstar, but he's not even a superstar in general for WWE, but like we all remember Santino's debut, right? The fan who comes in and defeats Umaga. This is exactly what I think of. Like Jason Strife hops the barricade, he becomes a soldier, and like he defends his country, and then he gets his match with Rusev for one night. And you know what? Oh, it just happens to be Jason Strife, so the guy actually is a wrestler. He knows how to wrestle. He will take a bump. He might not win the match, and Rusev might crush him, and it might bring more superiority to Russia or whatever. But the fact is, you still do that, and it creates a really good story, regardless if Jason Strife is actually, like wrestling for the WWE under contract or not. That's why, like, I really just want like something to come out of this, and I don't think WWE will do it. But as you can imagine, especially for the people at Magnum and for guys like Mikey Danger, I mean, it gives a lot of people more hope and excitement to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, I thought it was cool as hell. I think the angle was really well played off. It may have been a little, a little tasteless. I'll be honest. I'll step away from being involved in the product and knowing Strife. And I will say that it was probably not the best idea to have Rusev's super kick what was supposed to be a member of the armed services. But as long as I think if you realize that what you see on that screen, and as long as it's being aired and the camera is concentrating on it, it's scripted. Like all the other times that anyone else has jumped into the ring, the camera always goes off of him, but the camera stayed right on it, and it even did the quick cut when he took the foot to the face.
Yeah.
If wrestling fans and society in general would realize that if the camera is focused on it, it's scripted.
Yeah.
Then I think there would be an immense appreciation for what they do.
It's a television show, man.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry to say this, but because I know, it was such a big deal that WWE threw down the Russian flag or whatever. But, like, dude, it's television. If you turn on a movie right now and a guy burns the United States flag, I mean, I could understand why there's such an uproar. But once again, it's entertainment. It's a movie. It's not real life. They're not doing it to offend anybody. It's a movie. You're putting a script. You're telling them to do this. You're telling him to respond this way. So it's like, honestly, I get why people may not like it. But at the end of the day, it's a television show that is scripted, and it seems very, very authentic. And the fact that it got a reaction out of you, whether it's good or bad, it definitely did something good.
Yeah, I think we need to call this a show here, though. But I don't know. I feel like we should go full circle. What do you think the future of wrestling is? Since we talked about this, WWE is always going to be number one. What do these other companies have to do to try and be number two? Do you not even try to be number two? Do you try to be your own number one?
Try to be your own number one. Be the best you can be.
Is the internet the future?
Listen, I'm going to throw up a Kickstarter campaign, and with those who graciously donate, I am going to throw an one-time incredible wrestling event that goes live for YouTube or Hitbox or whatever I can think of and whatever money I get. And I'm going to put the greatest wrestling show together alive. And that's all I got to say this time on OMG Wrestling Podcast.
All right, Chase, your final thoughts about all this that we talked about tonight? What do you think?
I think that it's a good system right now where you have the lower indies, the mid indies, the high indies that then filter in the WWE, and then WWE is the only brand on TV. I think that's still the way to go. I don't think anyone should try.
It's the lower, the mid. I mean, there are curtain jerker indies, there are mid-card indies, and there are main event indies.
There are those indie shows like that put a curtain up and walk through a hallway and
it's like three fat hillbillies, and they're out there like, no, they're not trained at all, but somebody had enough money to build a wrestling ring from supplies at Menards and an old airplane museum.
Yeah, and then mid is like in your hall, in your bingo halls, and in your gymnasiums, and in even certain arenas. And then you have the big ones that are where the superstars and wrestlers in the mid like indies try to strive for, like ROH, CZW, and
You have the
PWG.
ROH, the CZWs, the PWGs, the ICWs, the Magnum Pros, the FWEs. You got all the high tier end wrestling promotions out there. The guys that are getting the Steven Richards and the Matt Seidels and the AJ Styles to come to their events because they know it's the place to be. But
dare I say one of the top indies is TNA, because TNA is not a second-rate major fed. They're a top indie.
they're an indie promotion with worldwide television is all it is. And
Yep.
they got lucky. They ruined it. They got rid of all their... You know, AJ Styles probably was the reason that Spike picked him up, and now he's gone. So I think if you're a wrestling fan and you're listening to this podcast and you want to know what to watch, look for Magnum Pro, ICW, FWE, ROH, CZW, PWG, New Japan, and if Global Force Wrestling ever does anything ever, maybe look for that. But don't go to TNA. And if you're looking for an alternative in wrestling, look for the independent wrestling scene. Google independent wrestling and wherever you live, and you'll find better wrestling that's on WWE. And I think you'll get a different niche that you're looking for. If you're looking for high flying, you go to PWG. If you're looking for hardcore stuff, go to CZW. If you're looking for a mix between a little bit of both, go to ROH.
And there's so much out there on the indies. There are feds that are purely entertainment, where they do comedy matches, where dudes wrestle in slow motion.
Look
Yeah,
at
like
Chikara.
a Chikara,
Chikara
and
right
then
there.
There's so much out there to be entertained by, that stuff that you're not. I mean, there are places that are trying to be WWE, where there are WWE style matches. You know, the show starts out with a 15-minute promo, and you get 8 5 to 10 minute matches, and that's all there is. Or there are, you know, companies where you can go see two guys wrestle for 45 minutes, and there's 4 of those matches on the cards. Or there's, you know, Chikara, where you get the King of Trios tournament, where everybody has a mask and everybody's doing crazy flippy stuff. There is something for everyone on the indie scene.
Or you have PWG, where two guys super kick a girl with thumbtacks on their shoes and they flip over
And
each other, dive in the
Territory
crowd, and
League.
take out drunk people in the standing room only for $50 a night. I think if you're a wrestling fan, the best thing to take away from this episode right here, besides Ango's distaste for TNA and Impact Wrestling, I think the best thing to take away from this is that you need to go find independent wrestling. You need to go to live events, because that's where the most fun is. Go to an independent wrestling show, and that is the best. That's the best experience that you can get for wrestling, is being there live and watching live wrestling. Because even if you're not a fan of wrestling, going to a live event is a completely different experience than watching it on television and being bored with it. And I think the internet makes it a lot easier for those companies to get their names out there. And I think wrestling is gonna. We're almost in a boom period of wrestling. I think we might be there. I think we're in a boom period for internet wrestling, but someday we'll get in a boom period for television wrestling. Maybe television is just a dying media anyway, and we need to get rid of that. So
TV's dead!
So I don't know, Chase. Any final thoughts? I think we close it out here with the nice little bow on top of it. You can close it out if you want. Anything you got to say on this one?
Hell in a Cell Sunday, hopefully on a show. If we talk about Hell in a Cell, we're not gonna have a 40-minute rant on TNA. So
We're gonna have a 40-minute rant on John Cena versus Randy Orton, number 320.
at least that would be relevant, though. At least that would be relevant.
Hey, this show is all about getting the hardcore internet fans and the smarks and the marks and the people and talking things. But we'll come back. We'll talk about Hell in a Cell on Sunday. We'll take some calls from you guys, because we'll get your thoughts on it and give our predictions, all that fun stuff. Simulate it in WD2K14 Sunday at noon, probably, if I can wake up at time. But I'm pretty sure I will be fine. And we'll figure it out. But
That's right.
I think it'll be good. I think it's going to be a hell of a cell of a pay-per-view, if I could say so myself. I don't know.
Nice.
You want to watch ICW online? Check out their YouTube channel. You want to watch Magnum Pro online? Check out their YouTube channel. Want to watch anything online? Go to YouTube. I don't know. I think this was it was a good show. We got to talk about a lot of different subjects. I think we're onto something here. Might be. I don't know where this is going, but thank you, Mikey, for joining the All-Star panel. If I can talk.
You can talk, and you're welcome.
Sound like John Garbage. But I think this is a good mix of people. Chase, I think you need to just slap Ango in the face next time he starts ranting, and then change
Over
it.
the internet, I will.
All right, give him a verbal slap. Mikey, sign us out with your outro. Ango's back. Ango, sign us out with your outro.
Oh no! I just want to ask you guys. I just really want to include like my final thoughts about TNA. Is that okay with you guys?
No, if you want to,
No,
if you want
for God's sake, turn it off.
Yes.
Oh, guys, they're trying to censor me. This is what happens when you speak your voice.
What
So
button
you know
do I
what?
hit to mute Ango?
If you want to hear about TNA, then write that in the comments. I guarantee you, not one person will write it in the comments.
I guarantee you right now they will. I guarantee it. I promise you right now.
I wish this was like, pardon the interruption, I could mute you and turn you black and white and have lightning strike you.
Listen.
I would
listen,
do all those
I
things.
I will not be muted and I will not be censored, okay? I am the future of this damn show. I am the prodigy of TNA Impact Wrestling. And if you have a problem with that, I got 2 words for you. Nah, I'm just fucking with you. I really don't.
All right,
I
guys,
was
that's the
trying
show. Ango's shooting blanks now, so we're going to play Carl Anderson's theme song and close out the show. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll be back next week, but Sunday we'll be doing our Hell in a Cell stuff. We'll probably keep it more free format on the Tuesday. I know Chase probably doesn't like that, but I think it's better that way. I think Chase likes to report the news. Chase is a man. He's a
No. I don't like that. I don't mind shooting, but as long as it's on relevance.
No,
like
Chase is
WWE
all
and
about.
the
He's
indies.
got journalistic integrity. He likes to follow the news, and he's got it all
No.
written down. He's a man. You're like a regular.
No, I like shooting the breeze on WWE and the indies. Just TNA is like.
Yeah,
That
TNA. They
terrible
don't have another.
topic.
They haven't. They don't have another show for the rest of this year. How ridiculous is that?
Discussing TNA is like discussing your first drunk Vegas wedding at your actual wedding. I mean, it's just something that you don't bring up.
TNA is like.
TNA is the dead horse being beat over and over and over again. It's dead horse wrestling. DHW. Copyrighted Ango.
And I think they're so far on the drain that no matter what they do, there's no way they're gonna come out. It's just they're buried and dead, and it's like bringing back Jason Voorhees and Jason X. It just doesn't matter at this point. And that's all I have to say. Halloween reference. And thank you for listening. Again, thanks. Subscribe. YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Vine, Twitch, NoDQ.com.
Magnum-Pro.com.
Thanks again, guys. Here's the Carl Anderson's. This song is Carl Anderson's New Japan Wrestling theme, dedicated to Chase for shooting all those bullets today. Thank you, Machine Gun. I'm calling you Machine Gun Ango from now on. And that's it. Here we go.